Hey guys, welcome back. So it is seed planting day. So usually I planted, well, I guess it's about time that I usually plant, but last year it was a nice warm spring and I was actually able to plant some crops in March. Unfortunately, we had another frost yesterday and it's April 7th today, so it's been a really cold year, and the forecast is that it's going to be a very just slow start to the spring. It is very warm today, so I have those seed started things, well, in my inside of my house in those nanodomes. So those things that are a little bit more precarious, like my peppers, cucumbers, and my special cucumbers and all that stuff, that's inside the nanodome right now. And today I'm going to start planting my potatoes. So it's such a cold spring, that potato experiment, no. The ones that were from the store-bought, that were the cupboard ones, those I think might grow, and they are in the bin that I'm going to plant potatoes in anyways. But the ones that were like from last year's potatoes, no, it was not a good go. It was so cold. We were below zero again, Fahrenheit. So that ended up not being a good experiment, and it was probably the worst year to do it. But I didn't really, they were going to compost anyway. I think they were quite far gone, so that's okay. We got a lot going on in the yard today, so we're putting in a new garden here. So I'm excited about that. But that will be another video. I'm just landscaping the pond, so. But today, in this episode, we are going to be diving in on planting seeds. So we're going to go over planting seeds, the basics of planting seeds, whether you're a beginner, expert, you're just not really sure about how to go about it. I'm going to help you get started. So let's dive in on this episode. So if you haven't been to my garden before, this is going to be my pumpkin patch. I just got my seeds and what I'm going to be planting on the ground there. My pumpkins are, well, in that nest for now. And then these are my sprout box gardens. So I got 6 raised garden beds, full in a Hugo culture style. So we got logs, then we got compost, and then I have a top 9 inches of soil. But you can see that they have settled. They were mounded above, and this is the first year using them, so they have settled quite a bit. And that's okay. I'm going to be adding some straw for some mulch on the top. So these are my bins. So we're going to seed those, and then over here I'm going to be having my cut flower garden. But we're not seeing that today. And in the back, hiding over there, strawberries. So we're going to be planting in these bins today. Now the first thing that I suggest doing is having a map for where you're going to plant. So before I get going, I will be raking out just to loosen up all my soil. But this is my map of what I'm going to be doing. So I would make a plan for how you're going to be doing your garden, just a doodle. But I'm going to be switching these two around. So this is where my potato experiment is. So I'm going to put the potatoes over there and add onions to it. And then these are the other things I'm going to be planting as well. So that's the idea, is we're going to first loosen up the soil. And then I'm going to go get some popsicle sticks so that way I can get these lovely West Coast seeds into the ground. I'm so excited. We got lots of goodies to go in. These are all the things I'm going to start outdoors, direct sowing. And then everything else will be done, ones that need a little bit of a longer growing season or cannot handle this year's super cold spring, they're going to be done inside. But that's not too many, because I usually keep to what I eat and also what is hardy for this area. I'm going to be planting asparagus from seed, so they will be ready in a few years. But everything else, I'm going to have some lovely herbs. We got some carrots and beets and radishes. Those will be perfect for a nicer cold climate. Just a lot of staples for the house that we love to eat. So I'm excited, and let's get into it. Okay, so the next part is to follow your plan. So in my garden, I am currently this way, but I switched these two at the top here. So I've switched them around. So I'm doing the potatoes and onions over here. And I've also added garlic. So step one, have an idea of where you're going to pair everything. Now you can find a good pairing guide and what's in season when, probably on your local seed supplier website, and go with what's good for your area. I'm in the West Coast, so I'm using some lovely West Coast seeds, and I'm going with what is good plus what I like. And this is how I like to grow. I kind of go with what grows at certain times and how fast. Anyway, so this is what we're going to do first. We are, you saw me loosen up all that soil. Super nice. And now we're doing the potatoes, and onions. So my plan is, and then we'll see how much space depending on how we go with the potatoes here. I'm going to start on the potato end first because they take a little bit more room. And then we're going to do some storage onions. So I got white wing, red wing, and some shallots. So we're going to do those from seed. Usually I do the seed onions, but I'm going to do right from seed this time just to try it. But I also got this special guy. So this is some Kelsey. These are mammoth varieties, 110 days. So excited. Look at the size of these things. So they need to be spaced quite apart, so 5 inches to 6 inches apart. So I'll fit some in here. Obviously I'm not going to get as many, so it's more for fun. And then I got my red garlic, and I got 4 varieties of some different styles of potatoes to try that I've never tried before. Now the other thing is that I have, in addition to having my map, I also got everything pre-labeled, so I'll do one in garden a bit at a time just in case it starts to rain, as it usually does, and I don't want my seed packages to get all wet. So I have pre-labeled them. We're gonna stick them in here. I also have, whether there's storage or not, mostly for these, because some of them are storage, so I can put them in my crawl space in a cool place and they will last over the winter. I don't need to eat them all right away. So we're gonna seed this first. We're gonna do our potatoes first, space them out, and our onions, and then we're gonna go on to the next garden, which will be the kale, celery, Swiss chard, broccoli, and cabbage bed. All right, so we're done seeding. So I know you saw me put some straw in, so I'm gonna explain a little bit. So for things that, like over here, the potatoes can be covered up. The garlic, I just did a loose covering, but seeds cannot be covered. This is just onions, so they'll come through, but some things are not going to enjoy that. So I'm going to show you. So I'm just mulching in between. This is just going to help retain moisture, and then also it's going to decay over time, add to the soil, and hopefully stop weeds. So for instance, this is broccoli and cabbage. The seeds are in between. Same over here. You'll start seeing how I've spaced them out. More clear over here, things like carrots, where they're really sensitive, there's nothing. I've only separated and made separations of areas with the hay. So all carrots, so carrots and carrots. Same with beets, and 2 different types of radishes. That's 2 different types of carrots. So I've separated with that, just to again help moisture, water retention, and then visual barriers. And then you'll see that in my herb garden as well, where I've done the same thing. And then I have a couple of zucchini plants in there. I'll probably have to thin it out because that's just too many zucchini plants for that spot. And then again, I got asparagus, that's white, green asparagus. Will be 3 years because I'm starting it from seed. It's gonna be 3 years before I can even come close to enjoying that. And then I got peas. I'm gonna make a trellis up the center of my peas so they'll TP on either side, like that. And then over here are my cucumber varieties, and then I'm gonna make a hanging trellis for that situation. And here is only 1 pumpkin plant under that, so I know where it's starting. It's just gonna be 1 pumpkin plant. Yep, there's too much hay here, but I had to get rid of it because I don't want the tarp on my ground anymore. So I'll probably move it around. But yeah, the plant's gonna be a while because it's so cold this year. It's gonna be a while before it even gets over here. So I'll adjust as I go, but it'll stop weeds from germinating in places I don't want them until I need that space. And as you can see, my poor grass here is not growing from this new area because it's so cold. But I've done zucchini, so I've mulched around it, made little nests for my other zucchini plants. And then this is eventually going to be my cut flower garden where I'm going to plant flowers. But right now it's some hay storage because I needed to store it. But you can see what it looks like. Eventually things are going to come through. Now these are strawberries, so they can come through a little bit more resistant. They're going to pop through my mulch here, my hay, and you can see I planted these in here, well, probably a month ago, because they just come back, and I transplanted them here, and you can see how nicely it's going to grow through here while also retaining moisture, and it's just a nice nest for them all while keeping the weeds away. So that's my experiment this year with that. And my lovely friends, that is the end of this episode. Make sure you hit that subscribe button to check out the progress as this develops through the year, and they'll have some lush green grass when it's not winter anymore, and these will be full of beautiful plants, and all that hay is just going to disappear away. So make sure you give me a big dirty thumbs up. Yeah, that's a gardening hand right there. A big dirty thumbs up, and I will see you in the next episode.